Well, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while, hasn't it? Today's episode is from Chicago. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Before we get to what I'm doing here in Chicago, and you can see behind me there are some fantastic Porsches here at Checked It Out Chicago, just a couple of words about what's going to go on in the channel in the next couple of months. So we have a wonderful series of videos with Flat 6 Motorsports where I'm going to choose an exhaust for my 911, my 996, and we're actually going to do the definitive guide to exhausts. Now, before I talk too much more, I'm going to let John at Flat 6 Motorsports, who I'm partnering with for this video down in Orlando, tell us more about it.
Thanks, Jay. Hi, I'm John with Flat 6 Motorsports. For you guys who are not familiar with us, we're a Porsche aftermarket specialist. We're based in the Orlando, Florida area. We carry over 90 different product brands. We have a lot of experience and expertise with late model Porsches, very much focused on the performance and tuning aspect. We have our own product line as well here at Flat 6 Motorsports, so we do engineer and manufacture parts. One of the things we're most passionate about are exhausts. We have a lot of great vendors we work with, and we're going to bring some of those to you through Jay's car and let him choose what he likes best. Now, we'll cover all the specifics of the exhaust when we get Jay's car in here, put it up on the lift, and we'll show you the headers, the X-pipe, the mufflers. But we want to show a couple different setups so that viewers at home can understand the exhaust and what different changes make to the exhaust and the sounds. And Jay, I'm sure we'll give you a lot of great feedback on each. So we're going to test a few different exhaust systems. We're going to put the Fab Speed Max Flow sport mufflers on. We also have a Fab Speed X-pipe. It's a sport X-pipe with 200 cell cats that we will put on and off. The 2B style sport mufflers is another one that's going on. The car graphic valved muffler system is another one that he will be testing. And then just for fun, we're going to put a Top Speed Pro 1 muffler bypass system on. That one's more extreme, saves a lot of weight, but I'm sure you'll like to hear that thing over 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. So in the next couple of weeks, Jay will be down at our shop. We'll be putting all these exhaust systems on. He'll be giving you a lot of different sound and impressions, and then he's going to drive back to Connecticut with his favorite pick. So stay tuned. Back to you, Jay.
Well, how about that? That looks good, right? So anyway, another video coming as well on updating values in the Porsche world. What has that been doing during the pandemic? I thought that would be interesting as well, so look out for that. But otherwise, we are at Checked It Out Chicago. Yes, we have driven, about 1,100, 1,200 miles all the way from Connecticut via Cleveland to downtown Chicago, where there are, in the name of charity, 250 Porsches in the center of Chicago. So come for a little walk with me, have a look around. There are some incredibly rare cars here which I think you'll get a kick out of. Anyway, come and have a look at them with me and let's see what's here. Now straight into probably my favorite of the entire show, an RWB, or Rau Weltbegriff, rough world concept in German. A very rare car. These are made by one Japanese guy called Akita Nakai out in Japan, and he makes these body kits. They're very sturdy. They're only made one per customer, and he fits them, he builds them himself. They're very sturdy stuff, and if you want a wide body Porsche, these are, as you can see here, one of the ones to have. I think they look absolutely wild. And this 993, equipped with its RWB wheels, as you can see here. Nakai-san does all the work himself. He comes to meet the customer and builds them all himself. So you're very lucky to get one of these if you can get your hands on one. I'm told there's a waiting list of over a year on one of these babies at the moment. So take a look at it. A wild Porsche indeed. In that yellow, absolutely perfect. And there, look, there's his name signed off on each one. If you're interested in RWB and learning a little bit more about them, I suggest that you watch the Donut Media video on them. Really, really very good. Now, before we go on to our next special Porsche, have a look at the way Barney, my son, and I created a new way to get through tolls on highways without paying anything. It works well. Not my finest moment, I think we can all agree there. But let's move on. The new GT3. Look at this, shark blue with the shark blue rimmed wheels as the optional extra, as you can see here. Look at that, all matching and beautiful. Now I think this car is an absolute monster. I think it looks fabulous. It looks fabulous. Now we've long explored on this channel whether you're a GT3 person or whether you're more the Carrera Turbo type of person. Well, when you see one of these babies in the flesh, it makes you a GT3 person, believe me. I think they've got the styling absolutely worked out on this car. And of course you've got that glorious naturally aspirated flat 6. Doesn't this look absolutely great? I think deliveries have started now here in the US. We're starting to see them coming through. I haven't seen one on the road yet. In fact, this is the first one I've seen in the flesh. So if you've got one and you want your car to be reviewed by an excellent car reviewer, drop me a line. Look at that carbon. Oh my God. Yeah, want this car. They start at $161,100, 502 bhp and 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. This one even has matching carbon fibre wing mirrors. Fabulous. I don't think they're terribly different to the 991. I think they've shaved a bit of weight off it and it does go faster, and I think it looks better as well. They've rounded off some of the edges. But there we are. What a piece of kit. But anyway, away from Porsche's newest car to one of its recent triumphs, the Porsche 918. Now this car doesn't look 6 years old, does it? But they actually stopped making them in 2015. They made 918 of these, which is fitting because it's a 918. And it has a 4.6 litre V8 engine developing 599 bhp, which doesn't sound very much until you recognise that it also has 2 electric motors, which adds on 282 horsepower for a combined 875 bhp, which is staggering. Staggeringly expensive it was too, just under $1 million. $945,000, and that might seem a lot until you realise that these have never sold at auction or anywhere less than their original price and are currently trading north of $1.5 million. But if you want something a little bit more affordable, how about this? The Carrera GT. You're starting to see why Barney and I made the 1100 mile journey to this show, aren't you? By affordable, of course, I mean unaffordable to most people. However, despite only having made 352 more Carrera GTs than 918s, these actually trade at roughly half the price of a 918. In case you don't like them in black, here's a red one as well. Yes, how often is it that you see a 918 and 2 Carrera GTs parked in the same street? V10 engines in these ones, and not as powerful as the 918 with their electric motors. 5.7 litre V10 pushing out 603 horsepower, and simply divine. I'll take this one in the Guards Red, thank you very much. So what else in this street? Bam! A Singer. In case you're unfamiliar with a Singer, they are actually called reimagined by Singer. So what you're buying here is a Porsche which is stripped down. It was originally a 964 and then reassembled with the finest possible materials and paints and equipment to create something completely special. Choice of engines from a 3.8 up to a 4 litre, between 300 and 390 bhp, but something which is just flawless and perfectly put together according to your own design. And these are not cheap, between $450,000 and over $1 million, depending on how you spec them. Perhaps somebody will come along and do a business of converting Singers into a 964. Perhaps there's money there. Will people buy that? Probably not. Anyway, they got it right with this one, didn't they? The orange with the blue. Wow. Now, who says there isn't a 911 for every occasion? Want to go off-road? Well, you could do that in this 911 Safari here. And behind that is an entire parking lot of 996s where the Silver Dream machine was parked. And as I loop round, you'll see the Carrera GT and some of the other cars that were parked in the street. Absolutely wonderful event. And what's going on here with these exhausts? Anybody know? They're wrapped, but also have a little filter on the end. Let me know in the comments. Now look, a Daytona prototype, Crawford DP03, raced I think in the early 2000s. by Tom Herb, as you can see here. And a beautiful looking thing. And I thought this was such a lovely moment to capture a Targa pulling out in between a 911R from the 991 era and a Carrera GT. These cars are so timeless, they all fit together so well regardless of what you brought. They're all so lovely, including this 917, over 1,000 horsepower in 1973. And before we end, let's do a little montage just for 30 seconds or so, showing you some of the other cars in the show. There she is. Well, what a show. 250 Porsches in downtown Chicago. Well worth the drive, I can tell you. It'll be over, I guess, 2,000 miles by the time we get home. But time to end now. I hope you'll stay with us for our series of exhaust films on the 996. That should be super interesting with Flat 6 Motorsports down in Orlando. So the next time you'll see this car, it'll be down in Orlando, and we'll be swapping 4 or 5 different exhausts onto it to see what they sound like, and at the end I'll choose one. I'm really looking forward to that. Otherwise, again, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Stay with us, subscribe, like, do all of those things, and I'll see you in the next one.